Before turning the page to 2018, we have an opportunity to revisit some of the events during the past 12 months that helped shape the year that was here in Volusia County. Hello and welcome to our Year in Review edition of Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Osman. Today we'll take a look at some of the events that made 2017 a remarkable year for the people of Volusia. I hope you stay tuned. The 2017 Atlantic hurricane season was very active and proved to be one of the most destructive and costly in U.S. history. For the first time since 2005, a major hurricane, which is Category 3 or higher, made landfall in the U.S. And in 2017, we had 3. Volusia County was not spared when Hurricane Irma ripped through the state.
And then we go to a level 1 activation, meaning that all of the emergency support functions, all of our municipalities and everyone are here in the room to prepare for the storm, but then also deal with the when the storm is directly over us, and then of course into the recovery phase.
The county maintains over 1,000 miles of roads. Most of them have been impacted. It's a huge effort to clean this up. We're going to ask residents to be patient. It's going to take a little while. Debris contractors are strained with the Hurricane Harvey response in Texas and then the statewide impacts from Irma.
The county continued to make strides in numerous construction projects throughout Volusia. One of the biggest undertakings took place at the county's Smyrna Dunes Park. The park cut the ribbon on a brand new fishing pier to give guests prime fishing real estate on the Indian River.
Speaking for my fellow commissioners, we're all excited. We're all glad that this is just a new addition to what makes New Smyrna Beach one of the fastest growing cities in Volusia County. And we're happy about that. We're trying to do our very best to keep the charm and yet at the same token give you the amenities that you so richly deserve.
This summer, the home of the world's most famous beach played host to the 2017 U.S. Lifesaving Association National Championships. The 4-day event brought competitors from all over to battle on the sand and in surf to determine the best of the best.
This competition actually epitomizes everything we do on a daily basis. The running, the swimming, the craft. This is stuff we do every day, and it brings out the best of us in the best way for this competition. But when this competition is over, this is what we're all about. So it works out wonderfully.
The 2017 Nationals were coordinated by the U.S. Lifesaving Association and the Volusia Surf Lifesaving Association in conjunction with Volusia County's Beach Safety Division. In 2017, Kate Sark was out and about putting the spotlight on the many creative and innovative companies impacting the Volusia County economic outlook.
There's always something exciting happening in Volusia County, and 2017 was no different. From a Boeing 747 to being a boss to beverages, there were too many good stories to fit into one year. Here are just a few of the highlights. Volusia County hosted a multitude of special events and guests in 2017. Let's look back at Sophia's visit to the Daytona Beach International Airport. Sophia is the largest airborne observatory in the world, equipped with a 34,000-pound telescope in the back of the aircraft that captures mid and far infrared wavelengths. From its operating altitude between 35,000 and 45,000 feet, Sophia avoids over 99% of the obscuring water vapor, allowing it to make observations that are impossible for even the largest and highest ground-based telescopes. This mission was the first ever scientific mission to be flown over the Atlantic Ocean. Because of the location of the event, Daytona Beach was the temporary home base for the aircraft, which resides in Palmdale, California.
So on Thursday, kind of a rare astronomical event called an occultation, which is where one body passes in front of another. In this case, Triton, biggest moon around Neptune, is going to pass in front of a bright star in the background. And when it does, kind of like an eclipse, it's going to allow the scientists to learn about Triton's atmosphere. They're going to measure the light from the star as it wraps around Triton through Triton's atmosphere. And this is going to occur at almost a particular instant down to a few seconds out northeast of Bermuda. So no ground-based telescope is going to see it. You need to have an airplane. I guess you could have a ship, but that would be hard too. We can fly out there, be in the right place at the right time to get this.
This year, many businesses and organizations focused on hosting unique workshops and opportunities to encourage residents to grow their personal networks and small businesses. One organization in particular took aim at helping women recognize and embrace their inner boss. While bossy can be used as a negative term, recently women have been encouraged to embrace the term and use it for good. Among them is Lacey McLaughlin, founder of Boss Lady, who's working to highlight and connect local female entrepreneurs.
I really want women to feel empowered and that they have a network that they can rely on and that will support them. For me, starting a business, I didn't really know who to talk to. I didn't know who to talk shop with. I was finding resources online, which were great, but I really wanted that in-person connection. I think as women, and I can really only speak for myself and some of my friends, so I don't want to speak for all women, but what we do with our businesses is so tied to our personal lives. It's such an expression of ourselves.
The Boss Lady community offers opportunities for women to connect with other professional females. In addition to an interactive Facebook group that fosters conversation and highlights local female entrepreneurs, members attend events such as cocktail making classes and modern-day glamour shots. While the events are fun, they also allow members to connect and grow from one another. Volusia County has seen many new restaurants and breweries open in 2017, but there's only been one distillery. Let's revisit our trip to Copper Bottom to learn what makes this craft distillery unique. Jeremy Craig's family has a history in beer. Both his grandfathers and his father worked at Schlitz in Tampa, and he always imagined he'd end up following in their footsteps. However, the growing popularity of craft breweries has created a more competitive market. When the family visited a craft distillery on a vacation several years ago, they knew they had stumbled upon something more unique. From there, the idea for Copper Bottom Craft Distillery was born.
Hi, Kate. Nice to meet you. Jeremy Craig from Copper Bottom Craft Distillery.
Wonderful.
You ready for a tour?
Yeah, let's go.
Come on in. My dad has a lot of experience setting up facilities and setting up facilities like this. So that was a great skill set to have right there.
When it came to deciding what to distill, Craig says availability of materials is one of the most important factors. With sugarcane readily available in Florida, rum was a natural choice. They also produce vodka and have had several new types of rum in the works, including barrel-aged rum, spiced rum, and coconut rum. Craig says the name of the company was also a natural choice.
The name it's an old mid-1700s British Royal Navy term. Back in the 1750s, the British Royal Navy started cladding the bottom of their ships with copper, and it made them barnacle resistant, it made them quicker. So after a number of years, the sailors started calling each other copper bottoms if they were reliable and trustworthy, genuine, certain not to fail. So we really like the double meaning. Since we're focusing on rum, we liked the nautical part of it, but we also liked the double meaning where it's reliable and genuine and certain not to fail.
And that does it for our look back at some of the features for 2017. Next year, I'll bring you more of the highlights from our community here in Volusia County. Happy New Year!
In 2017, Shelley Safranek was everywhere. She kept us in the know on the places to see and things to do around Volusia County.
As 2017 comes to a close, it's a great time to reflect on all the stories that we brought you that help illustrate what makes Volusia County a great place to live, work, and play. It's been a fun year of learning about so many great places in the county, from the new Daytona Rising at the Daytona International Speedway to watching students rise to the occasion at Silver Sands Middle School as they competed in an annual fitness challenge. We also visited the Daytona International Skateway, the Marine Science Center to learn about their summer camps, and the beach for an overview of sea turtle nesting season. From visiting ocean piers to learning about how yopon, a native plant grown in Volusia County, is turning into a lucrative business for two New Smyrna Beach brothers, it's been a busy year. These are just a few highlights of the many stories that we shared in 2017. Here's a look back at my top 5 favorite ones. Coming in at number 5 is a visit we took to the Halifax Humane Society to learn about their expansive Reimagining the Future for Our Community's Animals campaign. Divided into 3 phases, the Halifax Humane Society has a new dog park and in May opened a pet-friendly travel center along a 180-mile span of I-95 between St. Augustine and Vero Beach. The third and final stage includes renovating the 50-year-old institutional-looking facility and incorporating the latest in shelter design improvements, efficiencies, and upgrades, while also creating a family-friendly place the center hopes will draw people through its doors frequently, and not just when looking to adopt or surrender a pet.
No longer will we hear things like, I can't visit the Humane Society, it's too sad of a place. We're going to hear things like, let's go there again. We were just last week, but we want to enjoy it. It's a great place to visit with the family.
Moving on to favorite story number 4 requires taking a trip across the county to DeLand, where we visited the family-owned Wily Owl Toy Store. This specialty store is lots of fun to visit no matter how old you are. What's most impressive, though, is that this toy store is succeeding in an industry that has all but become extinct. And that success is in large part to their high-quality customer service and toys.
Specialty toy stores have a major point of difference, though, other than just the toys themselves. It's the fact that the people who work there know everything about every toy in the store.
Understanding all of the important details is especially important when you are talking about different kinds of species, too. And that takes me to favorite story number 3, a visit to the Marine Science Center to learn about a new online resource to help people learn about the many different species living offshore near Volusia County's artificial reefs. Since the late 1970s, Volusia County has played an integral part in enriching and creating habitat for marine life through its artificial reef program. The reefs are constructed with the remains of ships, barges, concrete roadway barriers, concrete telephone poles, and other large pieces of concrete rubble.
One of the most important things of an artificial reef program is the monitoring of the artificial reef, not only to see and document the health and the abundance of the organisms that call the artificial reef home, but also to gauge the performance of the artificial reef.
From Ponce Inlet, we head to Port Orange next for favorite story number 2, which is when we visited Silver Sands Middle School, which was one of the sites for the annual Volusia Fitness Festivals hosted by Volusia County Schools. Schools select their top 2 athletes from each different event to compete at the competition. For many of these students, it's a big deal to be able to represent their school and try to set or break individual and school records.
The team winner gets a nice large trophy that it's a traveling trophy. It goes around to the winning school for the team that has the most accumulated points for the day. Individual athletes are given individual ribbons, 1st through 6th place.
Moving on to favorite story number 1, Location Cats and Snacks, which is working to provide a bright future for cats that need forever homes. Building on a cat cafe concept that started in Taiwan, grew in popularity, and is now in most metropolitan cities, sisters Colleen Macy and Marilyn Silva opened Location Cat and Snacks in July. While the original concept includes a cafe with a feline experience, the sisters decided to incorporate an old-fashioned automat-type eatery using vending machines.
Being very into the old movies and things of that sort, we knew what an automat was. And in the old times, the automat was the old vending machines. It was basically run by a person putting the food in there and then another person on the opposite side retrieving the food after they've put their quarter in. That way we get around not preparing food, but also having the convenience of having food and the cat adoptions all under one roof.
The cats at Location are a year older and come from the Halifax Humane Society, with all proceeds going back to the Humane Society. And I am happy to report that as we close out 2017, already dozens of cats will be enjoying the holidays curled up in their new forever homes. I hope you've enjoyed recapping these stories with me as much as I have. I'm looking forward to 2018 and taking you on a journey again to see all that Volusia County has to offer, making it a great place to live, work, and play. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Shelley Safranek.
The overall health of our Volusia County residents is always a top priority. Dr. Holly Smith kept us informed on all of the health trends affecting us in 2017.
We have wrapped up another busy year here at the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County. So let's take a look back at my top 5 stories of 2017. Starting at number 5, we are heading to the beach for a look at the Florida Healthy Beaches program. Every other week, the Department of Health in Volusia County collects samples of ocean water from one end of the county to the other. They're measuring the level of enteric bacteria. Enteric bacteria, it's a scientific name that's easier to understand when you put it in plain language.
It's associated with stormwater, pet waste, human sewage, that sort of thing. So it can provide as an indicator that bacteria levels that could be pathogenic are present in the ocean water.
It's a type of bacteria that's always there. It's a natural occurrence. But when the levels of enteric bacteria are higher than acceptable, it could be a health hazard for swimmers. But do not let this make you weary of riding the waves. It's very rare for public health officials to issue an advisory during our swimming season. That's May to October. It's a good day when you get to spend it at the beach or in New Smyrna Beach. That's where we're heading for number 4. This year, the department made it easier for people in southeast Volusia County to access our services. Take a look. Happy babies and happy parents. That's who's using the expanded services at the New Smyrna Beach location of the Florida Department of Health. The New Smyrna Beach location caters to a wide range of clients. Women who just gave birth and want to get back on birth control. Men also stop in to discuss birth control options and for STD testing. Parents bring in their young children for the WIC nutrition program or for immunizations. Many clients are teenagers just getting started on birth control. Before services were expanded in southeast Volusia, clients would have to visit a location in Daytona Beach or Orange City. That could be a long haul from southeast Volusia, and it was a hardship for many who do not have access to a car. The final top 3 stories all have a common theme, and that's food. Healthy foods that can help everyone from infants to adults live a long, healthy life. At number 3 is the Big Latch On event that promotes breastfeeding.
Called the Big Latch On, this is an annual event that is held in conjunction with similar events across the globe that support and encourage breastfeeding. During the event, 17,790 children were breastfed during the 1-minute count, and more than 18,000 breastfeeding women attended.
We all know that breastfeeding is very important for both mom and baby, and we're very aware of the benefits of breastfeeding. But from a public health standpoint, breast milk is so fantastic for babies because it helps to build their immune systems.
The Big Latch On is hosted by Volusia Flagler Breastfeeding Coalition.
Holiday food safety is number 2 on my list from 2017. We spent time with the culinary program at Daytona State College. That's where we got some tips to ensure our holiday meals were safe. So, first thing,
wash your hands.
Wash your hands. So let's start with the cleanliness part.
We have to assume that with any poultry item such as turkey, it probably contains a degree of salmonella. When we're using our raw vegetables, along with our raw turkey, we have to keep them separate.
If I use the same knife to prepare the turkey, I have one knife.
Go to your detergent, rinse, sanitize.
Do the same thing to the utensils that you do to the countertops?
To the cutting board, absolutely. We want to check the temperature, the internal temperature of the cooked turkey in the dark meat. The dark meat, the thigh meat, is the last thing to cook. So we want to check the internal temperature of the dark meat in the thigh at 165 degrees internal temperature to ensure its doneness.
It is not easy to top the talk about holiday foods, but my most favorite story this year is, drum roll please, the Summer Nutrition Program in New Smyrna Beach. The summer campers loved learning about healthy new foods and how to prepare them.
Broccoli is the best vegetable.
That's a confident declaration from a little girl who would know. Johnny Harrell and nearly 30 other children just completed an 8-week summer nutrition program hosted by the Department of Health in Volusia County and the University of Florida. These kids are enrolled in summer camp at the Alonzo Babe James Community Center in New Smyrna Beach. Here in the kitchen, the students learn to read recipes and how to make their own snacks at home using big green plastic knives. The idea is that the students use these skills at home the way Dominic Range has. So is your mom putting your new skills to work or making you do your own stuff?
Yes, sometimes she sleeps while I'm cooking.
That's a look at my top 5 stories of 2017. I look forward to bringing you more healthy programs and healthy initiatives in 2018. For the Florida Department of Health right here in Volusia County, I'm Dr. Holly Smith. Here's to a happy, healthy New Year.
The county's extension office filled the year with more recommendations to successfully manage our busy lives and solutions for your life. Let's join the University of Florida Volusia County Extension faculty staff as they recall some of their favorite moments from 2017.
Welcome to Solutions for Your Life. I'm Dennis Mudge, the UF IFAS Extension Director here in Volusia County. We're sharing our favorite segments from Solutions for Your Life for this year. And you know my favorite segment was the farm tour. 36 years of farm tours, amazing stops. It's so much fun to talk about, and I know it's one of your favorites too. Every year we have this wonderful event where the local producers open up their farms for a tour to come around and you to meet them. And this is a self-guided tour where you get in your own vehicle and you drive to each of the farmers and see what they have on display, and they even have some of their items for sale at the end. So you like to go to a farmer's market, but how about going right to the farm itself? Now remember, like always, we have a west side tour and an east side tour. So Lisa, what was your favorite segment?
My favorite segment was recycling in Volusia County. It was great to learn about all of the resources available to residents of the county and to take a trip to the Tomoka landfill.
Lisa, this is Jennifer Sturck, who's the environmental specialist here at the landfill.
Hey, nice to meet you. And I see you ladies brought some paint. That's
Yes.
great. These are excellent items for our reuse program. So we'll put those on the shelves here in a bit. And I see you have an old laptop. We also take all electronics. So if you have any other old electronics, please bring them. And the fluorescent light bulbs, that's excellent. These are 100% recycled. The tips are recycled, and the glass is recycled, and the mercury powder inside is recycled also. So everything is 100% recycled.
How about you, Patrick?
Being new this year, I only had the chance to do a few segments. My favorite segment was when we discussed the pros and cons to whole grain foods and how they impact your life.
Let's take a look at some whole grain products. When shopping, there are many different terms that you may see that may imply something is whole grain, but it's really not. Some of these terms are multigrain, or wheat, or white, or made with whole grain. All of these things try to get you to buy their products, but they are not actually whole grain. The only way you know for certain is by looking at the ingredients portion of the label and making a decision for yourself. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2015 suggests that you should make half of your grains whole.
Karen, it's your turn to share.
My favorite segment was about the interesting research on fireflies from Dr. Mark Branham, the associate professor at the University of Florida, and how the interesting light patterns was how they communicate.
Fireflies are the most common in places that are like obviously dark and that are like also left fairly natural and are moist. Firefly larvae feed on slugs, snails, and also earthworms. And so you find fireflies where there are lots of those prey items. I would suggest heading out right before dusk. I think a lot of people wait until it gets too dark to actually look for some firefly species. Many species come out right as it's starting to first get dark. And so if you take a little while to actually get outside, you can miss some of these species. Also, Florida species are pretty notorious for like being very habitat specific. If you're not in the right habitat at the right time of night, then you won't see them.
And Sharon, what was your favorite?
My favorite segment was regarding beekeeping, and we went to a local honey producer, met with him, and I got to hold a frame of honey, and we looked at all the different kinds of honey and learned about the honey, the bees, and the native environment that they stay in.
This is a cabbage palm, and it's in bloom. And we have over 5, 6, 7 different varieties of native bees that are actually pollinating the cabbage palm tree. This is a smoker, and what it does, it basically alert the bees that somebody coming into the hive. Looking for local honey producers, which is local beekeeper, is very important. Part of the reason is the ones that you buy in the stores, like in big stores, they process their honey because they don't have a choice. They pack it and they have to process it in order to put it on the shelf in the store.
So Laura, you didn't get to do a segment this year. What would you like to share with us about 4-H?
As always, Volusia County 4-H is very busy.
from shooting sports and sewing and community service to the Volusia County Fair. And this year we had our very first own livestock show called the Showdown. And we're looking forward to even bigger and better things in 2018.
From all of us here at the Agriculture Extension Center to all of you, happy holidays. We'll see you in 2018.
2017 was another busy year, and our Director of Community Information, Joanne Magley, brought in community leaders to discuss the issues that mattered most to our residents. Here's a look back at some of the memorable interviews in 2017.
We're going to talk about a very unique incident that recently happened at Daytona Beach International Airport. It was the emergency landing of an Air Berlin plane at our airport. It had 280 people on board.
Well, we got the call a little after 1 o'clock that Air Berlin had experienced smoke in the cabin or in the cockpit, and we rolled all of our emergency vehicles out and prepared basically for the worst. And luckily, it ended up being a relatively small issue, but nonetheless, the plane had to make an emergency landing on its way to Cancun, Mexico. It became challenging, but overall, you know, the team has prepared for this. The team drills for emergency situations, and we just stayed positive and continued to work with the passengers and try to communicate with them and provide them everything we could.
Give us an update on farming in Volusia County. What is the most what do we farm the most? What are some new initiatives that are happening in farming?
It's a perfect time for you to ask that question because the USDA is doing its egg census in 2017, the end of the season here. This is where the survey gets sent out to the farmers and we find out who they are. Mm-hmm. We're adding about a farm a month in this county with people who are raising vegetables and other commodities and livestock to sell. Most counties are decreasing.
Is that an increase in the number of farms?
In the numbers of farms. Now they're smaller than they used to be. They're averaging about 75 acres. A lot of them are only 10 acres, but they're growing food for all of us. And we all need safe food grown organically in different ways that really makes it good. And gosh, that's going on here in Volusia County, and I'm excited for it.
At the height of our activation, we had probably around 300 people here in this building, and you mentioned emergency support functions. Give us an overview of just some of those functions that are here in this room coordinating all that information.
Absolutely. We have critical aspects, we call them emergency support functions. So it could be communications, mass care, hazardous materials, search and rescue, health and medical. So all of these 20 emergency support functions, there's a lead agency responsible, and then under that lead agency are other organizations that support that lead agency. And so it's their job then to deal with those specific aspects of that support function. The coordination for all of those activities take place here in the Emergency Operations Center as the hub for all disaster preparedness, response, and recovery activities.
Tell us about this ship and then what the county is going to use it for.
Well, this is a really exciting project. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency had seized a vessel on the Miami River hauling illegal contraband, and they were willing to donate the vessel to an artificial reef program that would make the commitment to sink it as an artificial reef offshore. And Volusia County took advantage of this opportunity to get the vessel for free, and we were very happy. It was just the perfect size vessel for our waters, right? Our continental shelf is not the deepest drop-off, if you will. So a small 150-foot little island trader type ship, such as the Lady Philomena, is perfect for wreck diving and fishing and spearfishing offshore the Volusia coast.
Thanks, Joanne, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can always feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Osman, wishing you a very happy and safe holiday. We'll see you again in 2018. Good night.